All right, here's a couple of questions where you need some rules to solve the equation. So this first one, let me just rewrite it again. So minus 3/7 less than or equal to negative 5x. So I'm wanting to solve the inequality for x. So this 5 and this minus have got to go. So typically when we do that, we'll just divide this side by minus 5, and then, ooh, that looks ugly, divide that side by minus 5. So when you're doing that, what you get is a complex fraction that maybe looking at it is hard. And you sort of know, well, do I times the 3 by the 5 or the 7 by the 5? And you're just not quite sure. But let me show you how you can sort of figure that out. These minuses and the 5s are cancel, so on the right side, I'm just left with an x. And then if I read it backwards, it's x is greater than or equal to, if I'm reading it this way. If I read it this way, then it's less than or equal to. I might switch those in a second. Anyway, let's rationalize this complex fraction thing. I can rewrite that another way. I can write it as minus 3/7 divided by negative 5. Okay, this line here, divide, means the same as that. And then what you can do is use that idea of, if you're dividing fractions, you invert and multiply. So I'll take the minus 3/7, leave it alone, but then I'm going to change that divide to multiply, and I have to flip this one over. So this would become 1 over negative 5, less than or equal to x. Okay, let me get some more room here. So now when I'm multiplying this stuff on the left side, the negatives cancel. So I know my answer is going to be positive. And then 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 5 is 35. So I have positive 3 over 35 is less than or equal to x. But typically that's not how they write them. Typically they have the x on the left side. So if I take with inequalities, like if I had minus 3 is equal to x, I would just write x equals minus 3. But if there's an inequality, you can't just sort of change the x and the 3/35s without doing something else. So you can change them. So you have an x on this side and a 3 over 35. You can probably see where I'm going with this, is that I have to change that inequality to be a greater than or equal to 3 over 35. And that's the same as if you were to read it this way. It'd be x is greater than or equal to 3 over 35. And so if you flip it over, you just remember to change the inequality. Let's see if that's one of the answers at the top, hopefully. Oh, you have to type it in. So you would just type in, not that one, because that's less than. We have greater than or equal to 3 over 35. I'm calling it that one right there. So that's one. So solving for an inequality and dividing negative numbers and fractions, fairly complex, this is how I would do it. I guess another way you could look at it, minus 3 over 7 less than or equal to minus 5x. To get rid of that negative 5, you can multiply this side by a negative 1/5, because the 5s will cancel, right? So the 5s cancel and the negatives both cancel. But if I multiply the right side by negative 1/5, I also have to multiply the left side by negative 1/5. And you see you're going to come up with that same answer. Okay, another question in solving equations has to do with a quadratic equation. So I have 42r squared, and I have a problem right off the bat, is that it's not equal to 0. Whenever I have a quadratic, that's something with a squared in it, I want to make it equal to 0. So the first thing I want to do is use the subtraction principle to subtract 15 on both sides, so that I get a 0 on the right-hand side. And now you get to factor this thing. Okay, let me show you just to factor. Some people use the AC method, where they'll go 42 times 15. That's 420, that's a big number, 600 and something. And then look for two numbers and multiply that and add to negative 17. And then they do the group factoring and all that kind of stuff. If you want to do that and you're good with that, have at it. And I can do it, but I prefer guessing and checking when I'm factoring something like this, because I know that 47 or 42, that sticks out like a 7 and a 6, because 7 times 6 is 42. So that would be an easy way for me to get the 42r squared. And then I just have to play with the 15 and figure out two numbers, and 15, 3, and 5, those are the only ones. You could go 15 and 1, but not likely. And so then I put the 3 and the 5 sort of wherever I want. Why don't I put a 3 here and a 5 there? Because this sign is negative, it means both signs have to be different down here. And so I'm just going to put, say, why not put a minus there and a plus there? And I'm just going to check to see if I'm right. 42r squared, yeah, I knew that. This would be a positive 21r. This would be a negative 30r. Together, that gives me a negative 9r, not negative 17. Bzz, can't be that. Oh no, I shouldn't have erased it all. Oh well. Anyway, I know I have a 7r here and a 3r, not a 3, 6r. A 6r here. And then I think I put a 3 in the last spot. I'm going to put a 5 in the last spot this time and a 3 here. And then the signs, one has to be minus, one has to be plus. Why don't we go minus here and plus there? Okay, now let's check it. This 42r squared, yeah, I knew that. This one times this one, positive 35r. This times this is negative 18r. And when you combine those, it gives you a positive 17r. I look up here, and it's a negative 17r. The number's right, but the sign's wrong. So all I have to do is go in and change these two signs. So this one I'm going to make positive, and this one negative. Okay, this one positive, this one negative. So then that would give me a negative 35r and a positive 18r. Together that gives a negative 17r. That's my answer right there. Well, not my answer, but so far that's I've factored it correctly. Okay, so now that it's factored correctly, now I can use the zero principle that says if you're multiplying two things and your answer is 0, then either A is 0 or B is 0, one of the two. So here I've got 7r plus 3 times 6r minus 5 equals 0. So I have to write 7r plus 3 is 0, or the other one, 6r minus 5 is 0. And then solve each of these separately. So on this side I'll use the subtraction principle. 7r equals negative 3. Then I'll use the division principle, divide both sides by 7. And one of my answers is negative 3/7. Similarly, on the other side, I'll add 5 to both sides using the addition principle, and then I'll divide both sides by 6 with the division principle. So that's my other answer to that. Two great questions involving solving for a variable.